waiting for.
All right.
So this is not medical advice, but for me personally, I've started taking hydroxyurea, and it's like it's standard practice in the US,
yeah,
right?
But not in. So it's not in every country, but in the US, anybody that has sickle cell anemia, they generally put them on hydroxyurea right from when they're kids.
And what that does, sorry, babe, again, not medical advice, Shugmo. However. What it's supposed to do is it raises a type of hemoglobin in the body, which is the F-type hemoglobin. It's the fetal hemoglobin. And what that does is it helps promote oxygen in the blood and keeps the red cells circular, not collapse into the sickle cell. So, and then due to that, so you get less crises.
Okay, so you take the drug. Does Idara take it?
No, he doesn't. I'm using myself as
guinea pig.
Yeah, like because so they say it's standard practice in the US, it's not standard practice in the UK.
Yeah.
Like so they generally say in the UK, if your child is fine, then you don't need it. Because the way they're thinking is, why are you introducing these additional things which might have side effects whereby the child is already fine? Versus in the US, they're like, well, we've been doing these tests and they said that, oh, well, the net results are positive. So there's a couple of schools of thought.
And the reason why I wasn't put on it in the UK was because literally I would have a crisis once a year.
Yeah.
And I didn't always end up in hospital. I could manage it at home. So the hematologist just didn't feel the need to put me on hydroxyurea.
I'm sorry, for people who do not know, when you say crisis, what does that entail?
So, I mean, there's a whole scientific explanation, but crisis is just pain in your joints and bones. There are different types of sickling. There's also, what's the other sickling called? Can you imagine? I'm the only one.
The man looks like he has read plenty. It looks like book has entered his eye.
So there's a particular kind of sickling. It makes the blood stickier. So,
Oh, for real?
So you might not have pain. However, it can cause your organs to shut down.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So there's that type of crisis.
So
there's a bone
like
crisis, joints.
Do they take like blood thinners?
Blood thinners, constant blood transfusions. Yeah. You know,
that's what I was saying. There's different levels.
Sickle cell, for sure. There are different levels. I never took blood transfusion until I came to this country. You see, my body is allergic to Nigeria.
You had to take blood transfusion in Nigeria?
Yes.
Hostel?
Yes.
The hostel grabbed you by the shoulders and shook you.
He said, welcome to Nigeria. Here's some blood.
Okay, since I'm sure you have a very good support system in the UK, do you have one in Nigeria as well?
Not necessarily medically, but you know.
Yeah.
No, family.
Well, medically and family wise.
Family is always on point. I'm so grateful to God for family here.
Especially Bola.
Yeah. Families, medically, we're getting there here.
So I've heard that before, that someone, silly.
I'm sorry.
Well, someone actually did say that it's, because I have a friend who, has a couple of kids who have sickle cell. And she says that things have gotten so much better over the last decade because they're teenagers now. Yeah, she said that things have gotten so much better, not just them health-wise, but even access to professional advice, medication, and all of that. So fingers crossed, because Niger is well.
Yeah.
So support.
What's interesting is actually, it's probably better now, but probably a while back, particularly in the UK, they didn't know what to do with sickle cell.
Oh my goodness.
They had no idea.
Yes.
No, because it's not a common thing in the UK. Right. So whereas in Nigeria it's more common, we were much more clued in terms of what needs to be done. Like if someone is having a crisis, first thing is fluids, and pain medication, pain management. In the UK, they didn't know. They had to do a whole full standards thing and circulate around hospitals. And even to this day, you can go to certain hospitals and they have absolutely no idea what to do.
Because
we've experienced it. We've seen it happen.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
It's incredible.
The last time it happened, sorry, babe, to cut you off. The last time it happened was 2 years ago when I went to a hospital. I was about to say the name of it. I was like, wait, hold on. Before they come for me.
Before they come for you.
We have information.
Yeah.
Just 2 years ago, went to this hospital and I was with my sister and her husband at the time, and I was in excruciating pain. And Bola wasn't around. Bola and the boys, they were here. So they rushed me to that hospital and they were like, oh, what's wrong with her? And my sister was like, she has sickle cell anemia. She's having a crisis. She needs this. And they were like, oh, well, we can't just administer that until the doctor comes and checks her out and we need to do a full blood count.
I'm sure you're looking around like, wait, oh.
No, I wasn't, because I was in pain. I was like, oh my God. My sister nearly got into a fight with the nurse.
Because in these things, like, speed is of the essence to try and manage.
Sorry, this was in London, by the way.
Yeah.
London, not some remote village in England. London.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Wild.
It took hours before they gave me, I was in pain for hours and I was just like, oh my God, is it today? Is it today that you're finding? Oh God forbid.
So that's the thing. And like they didn't, I remember very clearly, some of the first things, fluids, oxygen.
Yeah.
Those are the first two things, right? Like to promote oxygen flow around the body and so on and so forth. They didn't give her that.
They didn't give me
hours
for
and hours and hours.
Even oxygen.
Fluid, yeah. Like because they didn't know what
They
to do.
didn't know what to do. And they
And
didn't
so-
And they can't
believe.
take advice or recommendations from the patient or the patient's family.
So now here's the thing. Like this is what I was saying about Nigeria versus UK, right? In Nigeria, generally people know what to do. The difference is maybe the particular medication that would
not
typically work
available.
might not be available.
Or affordable.
Yeah. Like so that's
It's
like
usually
they
not
might know
available.
what to do, but they might not have everything available. Versus in the UK, there's very real instances in a developed nation where they have no idea what to do.
Because it's not something
Apart from
that
in
is
the
common.
largest hospitals because it's not common.
Notwithstanding, even if it's not something that's common, it's biology. People,
Yeah, but
You
baby,
see
need to
someone in
understand-
pain,
yeah.
So
give
people do-
them an
a lot of
oxygen
the- a lot of
mask
time-
because clearly they're
they
not
just-
breathing because they're in so much pain.
Again, we're supposed to be serious in this conversation. they're trying to not get sued because
And then if someone
Agreed.
No, but you
No,
don't
no,
understand.
but-
What I'm trying to say is, as doctors, don't you read every day about new illnesses coming up? Haven't you been to third world countries to know that? Look, please, don't piss me off. Haven't you been to third world? And you look that, and they come and look down on us.
Exactly. And it's not as if they don't have black people in their country. There are plenty of them. So surely.
No, but let me add something here. Again, if it's not common in your country, it's very like there's been multiple instances. Like one of my friends came back from Nigeria,
had malaria.
Boom.
Boom.
They
And
had
I
no
just
idea
wanted
what to
to-
do. Right? In this
Maybe
day
it
and
happened
age.
with me as well.
Happened
Remember
with-
when I
yeah.
had malaria and I went
Yeah.
to the UK and they did a blood test and they were like, oh, you've got malaria.
Like to them,
They were really, I was like,
Shipping off to like some tropical disease, something. It's like this is
we don't
this is
quite
not
know
a
how
big
to deal
deal.
with it. I was
Man,
like,
just give me 2
malaria.
tablets of soft shell. Let me swallow this thing and sleep.
Simple. Give me fluids and like so because when they don't see it and it's not common for them, they don't know how to react. Now, at least in the UK, they circulated the sickle cell standards and that kind of thing to
which I
hospitals.
was part of, by the
And
way.
yet-
See, you're doing important work. You're educating and enlightening
Yes.
And yet, the problem is there's so much that doctors have on their heads, that nurses have on their heads. It's difficult to expect them to know everything. That's the problem. Like, it's difficult for them to be prepared for every single situation. Like, but if they had a database of being able to find what they need to, then great. But it's not always obvious because some of the symptoms.
wants to fight.
I know,
I
but some of the
was about
symptoms.
to make a controversial statement, but I'm not going to say
Some
it.
of the symptoms may be presenting symptoms
say
of
it.
sickle cell might be
Say it.
different.
No, they'll come for
No,
me.
if Didi doesn't pass it, she'll take
cut
it
it
out.
off.
Because
I
what
have
else?
a question because there's something you said now. You said and they have black people in the UK. So
Yes.
is sickle cell only?
So this is in line with what I was even going to say.
Okay.
What's his name? Rishi Krishna or whatever his name is. You see? Is it Indian? So black people and Indian people, they've got sickle cell. Wait till he's got it, right? Or
Then
someone
they'll
in his
make changes.
family, and then they go immediately overnight. They'll make changes and do that. This is sickle cell. You must. This is what you do. Sorry, that was a
That's what
controversial statement.
that's what I was trying
Wait
to
till
say, that you were
someone they
rubbing my
deem
back.
important
Because I know you
has
wanted to
it.
fight.
Because I
I'm
feel
trying
like
to see if I'm
if
check.
like Nigerians
What,
now,
his name?
when we didn't
No, I know his name.
in
I actually
Nigeria,
want to see.
But still answer the question about sickle cell. Does it affect only people of color?
black
No,
people.
yeah,
no.
not
Not
just
just
black people, also Indians.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's prevalent in Africa and in India.
Yeah.
Asia.
And do you think that is do you think it's do you think it's not geographical? Do you think it's because we just do not take enough care in terms of being
So,
strict? It's not
What are
Actually,
you
because I know that
It's
that's what I
science.
was
It's
saying.
science.
Aha,
Like,
so it's
so-
science, not okay. Thank you. That's what I was actually trying to find out.
It seems like people that have the sickle cell trait are more resistant to malaria.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's actually evolution.
Yeah. So the fact that there's malaria prevalent in these
Split again.
places,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, for
It was
example,
trying to protect
I
itself.
can't remember the last. Like, I don't get malaria.
He never gets malaria.
I don't get malaria. Tio doesn't get malaria.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, so my sister
Like
who is
AS.
AS, she doesn't get malaria.
they-
I am AA. I used to get malaria
Yeah.
a lot. It's just as I'm a man now. So I haven't had malaria.
You test it. No, you get
I
it.
did
You
test
test
now.
it now.
I did
You
test
test it. You say it's not malaria.
Now
Those
he
are
looks
science.
after himself. Are you AS as well? No,
AA.
Yeah. Yeah. You look after yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's part of
I
that.
usually take
may also be part of
anti-malaria.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ah,
Yeah.
there you
It's
go.
evolution.
So what I was trying to say that you cut me
Oh
short,
my
cut me,
goodness,
Say
this
is-
woman.
is I don't understand. So why is it that when it's our turn, it's different? Because okay, we did not have COVID. They brought
It's
COVID.
true.
And we found a way
Within
to
months.
manage COVID.
Yes.
So
So
why
to
is
be
it that
fair,
when
to be fair, right, concerning COVID, biologically,
Yes, doctor.
physiologically, and whatever logically,
Psychologically.
on this side of the world,
Spirituologically.
we just seem to have more resistance to COVID than
yeah, babe,
across
that's
the
not what I'm
pond.
trying
what
to
she's
say.
saying.
That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is that they brought COVID, but we found a way to reach out to them to find out what can we do to save our people. So when somebody comes in that has sickle cell, why can't you call somebody a colleague and say, "Oh, we have somebody,"
Oh, okay.
and what can we do? Research. Go for. They will shout every time we're going for a seminar. Why didn't you find out what you can do when someone with sickle cell comes into your hospital? If, God forbid, something has happened to her, we will not sit down here and be having this conversation. So I feel like they should have more seminars and talk about these things.
Yeah.
That's fair. Like, they should make it clear
Welcome.
when it's an emergency situation.
Yes.
Because it may be that you don't know, but you need to know there's certain things that when somebody says,
That
you
are
have to
linked to
find
some-
out
yeah.
very quickly like
Yeah.
what you need to do in terms of, because time, as I said, is always of the essence. So
Thank
if you hear sickle cell and you don't know what it is,
this
there
thing
should
is
be
very-
somewhere where you
I'm very
look it up
upset.
Exactly.
and they're like, oh, okay, it's serious.
Thank you, because
And
that's
then-
happened with
and then-
Ebola too. That's how that woman died now. That she quarantined everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
They had to find out. Why couldn't they find out for you? They kept you there in pain for hours.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
But yeah, like
Have
all I'll say is
fighters come
there's
to
a
me.
lot of
She'll come
support
for you
system.
first.
there's a lot of
Yeah,
different
exactly.
there's a lot of different pressures that like I sympathize because doctors don't have it easy
Yeah.
at all. And it's difficult how much pressure is on their heads, even particularly in the UK. Actually, like there's just not enough doctors
That's why they're taking
to
our
go
own.
around. So I sympathize, but either way, it really should be well known across the world.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be just certain things whereby, like, if somebody says this buzzword, you quickly check it on your system and then you immediately know this is what I
to
need to do. It needs to be something that's made standard globally, but that's my 2 cents.
So
oh
if-
my goodness. Sorry, Ibrahim, to cut you off. There was one time I was in Cannes and I had a crisis.
We travel.
Ew. That's how I went to the hospital. They rushed me to the hospital. I was like, sickle cell. Ah, my gosh.
For those not sure what language you're speaking, that was supposed to be French.
It's supposed to be French.
And it was just like, je ne comprends pas. Looking at each other like, hey, I was like, sickle cell, go, check your thesaurus, dictionary, sickle cell.
No clue.
It was horrible. I was like, call my husband. He can speak French. I was like, baby, they don't understand. Just speak to them.
Hey, Bobby, what's French for vavavoom? That's very French.
And then he was trying to explain to them, but we didn't know the medical term in French for sickle cell. So I was like, I'm in pain. Just give me something for pain. I think I was there overnight, right? And then they flew me back to the UK
So is
and
it
went straight to
morphine?
hospital.
You have to give you
Yeah,
morphine.
so morphine. There are other ones here now. What are they called?
Pethidine, like different ones will work for different
Yeah.
people. The one we know that
That
works
works for me.
is diamorphine in particular.
Okay.
But it's not actually that readily available in Nigeria.
yeah.
So actually, there was another thing that you had asked about in was in medical advice or something. So I was going to say, in terms of support system and things like that, actually, it's not necessarily just about the drugs and stuff. We're actually discussing it yesterday. Insurance, medical insurance.
Yes.
A lot of insurers would
don't want
not
to give
insure you or your children if you
talk about
have
it.
sickle cell, because
don't
they
want
see
to
it as a
give me
pre-existing condition,
insurance.
and so they are reticent to provide insurance for it. And there's definitely different ways that they can do it, but it's a lot more difficult.
If anybody
than
wants to
just
credit
having
my
standard.
account, keep spending money on medical.
it's actually it's really
ridiculous.
crazy.
So as parents, knowing this, what can you do, for Idara in terms of
Make sure he doesn't end up in
Hammer.
hospital.
We have to hammer. That's what we do.
So you just might be as financially prepared
And
as
stable.
possible. So is there like
Make those
a way you can Segi,
I'm sorry.
is there like a way you can, like, how we're all setting up, for funds for like accounts for their
The kids.
college or whatever it is that want to do, we know they're going to do in future. So how you set up an account for that? Is there
Like a separate account for-
something you guys can do or have done?
I mean, we haven't, but the point being that yes, like financial planning, like guys can financially plan for sure. We just need to try and do more research and try and find ways in which insurers will be able to provide that insurance, because it's not uncommon in Nigeria. Like, so it's surprising that
they
insurers don't provide something for it, even if it costs more or whatever it is. I would have thought that there was something, but it's actually not. It's actually really difficult.
It's like it's not even on
Really,
table.
really difficult.
We've
Some of
been
the
here 6
largest
years and we've been
insurers,
struggling to get
largest
insurance.
insurers, it's actually quite
crazy.
difficult. If people have information on any insurers
Yes,
that
please
provide,
share.
please
Share.
let us
Hit us
know,
up.
because that's actually
Major.
from a support system perspective, that's a major one, because you are having to pay out of pocket if there's any issue. So it's not easy knowing that might be at the back of your mind. So prayer is there, like you're like, okay, we pray that everyone's going to be okay, and generally everyone is.
Amen.
But if anything does happen, you know that the financial burden is also there.
Taken care of.
It's
So marry sugar daddies.
Yeah.
That's not a life
God.
advice.
He said God.
Or marry sugar mommies.
But I mean, this what is
It's
the
a
sugar
sugar
daddy?
daddy.
This
It's just
boy,
a young boy.
forget. Don't look at him
Sugar
like this.
baby.
Director, you wanted to ask a question.
Oh yes, I wanted to ask a question. So, being anemic yourself, how does it affect handling like Idara if he does have a crisis? Does it make? I know that again, not a mother. I say no one ever, but I would imagine that from what they have always discussed, like seeing especially Ihuoma and how much she has cried when Kion is sick and all of those things. So I'm trying to see from your own perspective, if Idara does have a crisis, does being somebody that already experienced this thing make it like easier to handle, or how do you like emotionally, how does that?
So the first thing is I go, I was hoping we didn't have to go through this, but okay, right. So this is what needs to be done. And then because I go through it, so because I have a better understanding of like the pain and what he might be going through, so it's easier to handle. I think it's much more difficult when you don't know what someone is going through, and so you just don't know what to do. But for me, because I know what's going on, it's like, okay, he's in pain, there's probably blood clots, so we need to do everything to release the blood and then get it flowing again.
What do you do?
So first thing is give him painkillers to at least subside to
pain.
help
Reduce the pain.
reduce the pain, and then water. Water, rest, water, rest. Yeah.
So
No medication.
no. I'm saying that no. I'm just saying that I'm they keep mentioning water.
Oh, yeah.
Water. I'm not going to lie. One of the things that I'm super glad about is that Kion just loves to drink
water.
water.
Good.
He gets it from. No, I want you to say it. He gets it from who?
Me.
You're a dirty liar. You're a liar. Baby, I love you, but you are lying.
Yeah, I love you too, but you are lying. You got it from me.
When we started dating, I used to literally beg this girl to drink water.
Are you serious?
Ihuoma didn't like. See, shame on you, sir. Ihuoma did not like to drink water.
I know.
Then it was worse when I was pregnant.
See,
Really?
she didn't.
I didn't like water. It's a surprise that boy came out with the beautiful skin.
Wow.
Are you serious?
What?
Other fluids.
I forced myself to take the water because I heard a story about a woman who refused
Yeah,
to
water
take
used to make her
water.
want to throw up.
So water used to make me want to drop. So she refused to take water throughout her 10 months of pregnancy. She was always taking juice or anything. When the baby came out, he was wrinkled because he didn't have.
There wasn't,
Wow, not enough.
His
Wow,
skin wasn't
wow.
hydrated enough, so the
Skin
baby
wasn't
had
hydrated.
for
Yeah.
years.
So that scared me.
Into drinking the water.
I put lemon and
Fantastic.
cucumber and
Beautiful.
I drank that water.
Good.
Well done.
I would just
And sometimes I'll sit with her and we would drink the water together so I can make sure that she
Yeah,
drinks.
that she.
Because I drink a lot
I
of
was
water.
now I
Yeah.
preferred ice cold water at that time. So I was always drinking. I'm like, if you want me to drink this water, lemon, cucumber, what ice? Lemon, cucumber, ice.
Yeah.
My dear, I
just-
cut lemon tire. I
I
chopped.
just wanted a little bit of
Just have.
Tanginess.
You did well.
Mama,
well
I
done.
do thank you for thanking me. So yeah, back to my point. Yeah, water is important. Yeah. Like now, I didn't even know that. One of the triggers for a lot of people who have sickle cell is dehydration.
Yeah.
So whenever I have a headache, I just tell her,
Go and drink
I need to drink
water.
water. I need to drink water. I need to drink water. And then she started doing that as well. So when she gets a headache, I'm like, baby, I haven't been drinking water. And she's like, oh, that's true. And she drinks water. And, most of the time, it does help.
He has
So-
taught me how to. Once the first thing I do when I wake up is drink water.
Drink
Before I
water,
go
yeah.
to bed, it's always have you drank your warm
Yes.
Drink water. So we drink water once we wake up.
Water is
we
life.
Drink water. Yeah. So I'm super glad that
you mentioned
you've
that.
mentioned this
water? One of the things they should take.
because the habit has to just kick in. You have
Stop
to
drinking
create it
sodas. That's another thing. Soda actually makes the blood thicker.
thicker. Yeah.
So it limits the flow.
So,
Whoa.
Yeah. And that could cause sickling. That's not necessarily pain. It could be the sickling of the blood and then is, damaging organs. Just drink water. Just drink water.
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Juice.
And do you know what the thing is? So I've got to a place where I'm like, you know what? This thing just encourages me, not forces me, encourages me to lead a healthy lifestyle. To drink plenty water, to eat well, to be physically
Okay,
active.
speaking of
watching
eating well, I know you told me that you used to be a vegetarian. Was that because you were
No,
just
actually.
decided?
No, well, because of Tio. Because Tio, honestly, he still doesn't believe me. He thinks I did it on purpose. You still think I did it on purpose? Look at your head.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
So Tio, when I was weaning him off, he refused to eat meat and fish. However, this boy loved pureed fruits and vegetables. And I was like, no, it's a lie. So we would buy salmon, lamb, everything.
Baba no go gree.
He would taste it.
Just didn't like the texture. I don't know what it was.
He didn't like
Just
it.
Never liked
So
it.
then I was like, okay. Then when he had teeth, he liked things like, no joke, he liked things like quinoa.
Oh my goodness.
He liked spinach.
I said this
know.
one's from your mother. These posh foods. I didn't even know what quinoa was.
I know.
I had no idea.
Genuinely.
I used to call it quinoa. Quinoa or something. I was like, what is that?
I was like, babe, it's quinoa. But anyway, no, for real. So he liked vegetables and just Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, if we're going to have a vegetarian in the family, I don't want him to be the only one. So I would join him because I was like, I know you like your steak and your beer. So you'll be going for steak and beer with the other kid when we have him. And then me and Tia will have like quinoa and...
Is he still a vegetarian?
No.
My guy came back. He came back.
You're not serious. However, so it was just like a support thing. And then when he stopped... so every single time we would try to introduce it and be like, chicken, no, thank you. Okay. I didn't want to force him because I didn't want him to like just hate chicken, beef, fish, whatever. But then over time, I would say in the last year now, properly, he's been
2 years maybe.
Yeah. He's now eating it.
More.
But the thing is, at least he knows he doesn't eat it all the time. And that's what I like about he knows what he wants so he doesn't eat it all the time. Once in a while, he'll be like, actually, can I please have chicken? Most of the time, it's a no. You put it on his plate, he won't touch it. He'll be like, no, I'm good with just
chicken wings.
It depends. Chicken wings, yes.
He loves
sausages,
chicken wings. Yeah.
That's with Idara.
Idara eats everything.
What is it?
My guy.
Love it.
Idara
that's the next thing I need to
everything.
ask about his appetite.
As in like,
he eats.
plus crunching bone. He will sit there and he will, and that's what
He's a carnivore.
That's
Carnivore. The way he eats his food is
So
very
what
special.
are the biggest myths that are associated with sickle cell, and which ones have you found to be true-ish, and which ones are just absolute nonsense?
Honestly, I think all the myths are nonsense.
I'm glad.
What are the myths?
Well, things like, number one, if you marry a sickle cell person, then you're just always going to be in hospital.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be fun. They're not going to have an energy to do anything. Plus in the bedroom as well.
When you said anything, I was like, including you.
I always
Do yoga
caveat.
to be flexible.
I always like to caveat.
Yes,
ma'am. I always like to caveat these things
Jesus.
because
I'm the only same person.
I always like to caveat these things because we can speak from our own experience. And we like to think, like, I don't know 100%, but we like to think that most of the time, those kinds of things just aren't true. There may be situations where someone's sickle cell is so bad that they may not be able to do certain things. But it seems to be more often than not that there's an in-between. So, this myth of if you marry a sickler, bad things are always going to happen is just not necessarily true. And people just have to be very conscious of not being led or misled by particular biases. People with sickle cell cannot play sports. There's international rugby players
that have sickle cell.
People who have sickle cell cannot go skiing. Because of the cold. That's just not necessarily true. There's a lot of things which usually originate with they can't do.
Right.
Which is not necessarily true.
As against, these are the things they can do to make sure that these things are not a problem.
Correct. There's usually a solution. So I don't know all the myths and stuff, but the way I look at sickle cell is it's something that someone or some people have that if managed properly, doesn't mean that your life is completely different to somebody else's, depending on the severity. But in general, it seems to be that way from what we see.
I wanted to say another myth is that just because someone has sickle cell does not mean their bone is brittle. Okay?
Yeah.
I won't break.
I've heard.
If you push me, I will.
Yeah.
Baby.
Because I've shot scenes with this girl where she has to really, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, Second needs to calm down. Because everybody.
And then there was one time I shot, we were like, whoa!
See, so our characters were supposed to be having an argument, yeah? And then, she pushes me, and so I'm like, she go push me. She pushed me like a man. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, wait now. She's a babe. How did she get that much torque into the push? I wasn't ready. Thankfully,
She's strong.
Thankfully, I didn't, because I could have just fallen over and they'd be like, Okay, what's going on here? I didn't expect her to have so much strength, and put that into the push. So
Frankly, it probably has nothing to do with the fact she has sickle cell. It's more she just looks like she's very dainty.
I'm just a nice little,
When
fam.
I tell people that oh no, never mind.
No, say.
No, go ahead. No. This is a safe place. Everybody's watching, but it's safe. Go on.
Reveal your secret.
Go ahead.
You tell people that what?
You know you want to.
You know, this was in the past life when I was a teenager. When I used to get in street fights. No one.
Blood of Jesus.
Agber.
I knew you had it in you. I just knew.
Street fights.
I'm the posh one in the family.
Now I can believe that. actually. Because knowing what I know now.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, when you go to Mount Carmel, love y'all.
But
you
know,
had to be
you have to be ready to.
Yeah, like I said, past life.
I'm shocked. Maybe so. This probably how people look at me when they find out that I used to get into a lot of fights when I was younger.
You did?
Like,
See,
bro,
you see?
bro, like
Just me.
it is well. Thank God for renewal of man and spirit, because like it is well.
I have a question before we get to wrap really fast. So did you
He wanted to enter your mouth.
did you have
Bola just died. Bola just died.
I can't.
you can see
Oh, yeah,
what I have
sorry.
do you have any nanny experiences that like a nanny who did not know what to do,
Or how to take care of
how
him.
to take care of Idara?
Or there was just
We haven't had that as actually.
Never.
We've been fortunate.
Yeah. I think generally
like is there
we're
when
around.
you're almost not shopping, when you're trying to hire a nanny,
Nanny,
are
what do you look out
there
for?
specific like
Specific things? No.
abilities?
It's so funny. Like
qualifications?
this
Never
episode
thought
actually
about it,
never
actually.
features.
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
never
like,
features.
what's your spirit like? Do I want
Yeah,
you in my
seriously, yeah.
house?
Which is important.
And around
Are you
my
a
children.
good person?
Yeah.
Like they are not the ability to yeah, that's never coming.
Because I think, once they have the character and they have the good spirit, then if anything were to happen, they
Yeah,
would
call
want
us.
Do the right
to-
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly, because they're just a nice person.
School,
Yeah.
interestingly,
you have to
with
educate,
school, the school that they're at now, they actually even asked us if there's anything that
They
they
should.
need to watch out for. And that's it. Like, so maybe he has like some cowp on his back, maybe. So if they just know that, okay, if he is in pain, then they give him some of the pain relief, and then they call us. And they ask us whether they would they'd like us to pick him up or whether they should take him to the nearest hospital, like to get anything. So they have like a protocol,
Sweet.
ready to go if they ever need it. But thank God they've never.
Yeah.
Thank
They've
God
never
they
needed
will
it.
not.
Yeah, they've never needed it for
They
six
will
months.
not.
Yeah,
Amen.
amen.
Honestly, amen. Like I'm still standing on that promise of God where He said, "I will have multiple children." Father, please, bless my womb again. That I'll have multiple
Wow, women
children.
mad. I'm sorry. I did that. No, I meant that.
Do you know why
in a
we
different
are?
way. Like why?
Because when God created the woman,
Woo! Hallelujah!
So there's a sermon coming up.
in the Hebrew Bible what you call the Ezra.
Yes.
Do you know what
Preach,
the Ezra
girl.
is? The Ezra is the chief strategist.
Mm-hmm.
Before the fall of man, and then we became Eve. So my guy, right? We come with the ability to be the Steve,
Steve?
to be the chief strategist, right?
Steve.
So we can handle anything in this life.
And,
This
and
world.
I fully.
So
But let me tell you what my worry, what my confusion.
I didn't finish.
Sorry. So my confusion is
your confusion?
you people go through, being pregnant, all the wahala that you endure.
Delivering the
You
child.
guys now go through labor or other means, and you have the baby. Then you go through the 4th trimester where it's like wild, and then like 6 months later, you're like,
We wanna do it again.
Are you mad?
no, we're just superhuman.
Yes, so. But it's only in recent times. It's only really in recent times that generally human beings have not seen having plenty children as a blessing.
Fair.
Yeah,
Like people were proud
yeah.
to have large
yeah.
families, and like media, whatever it is, like or the way we've been educated, people are now like, let's not have the school fees, this, that, and the other. Like we're
the
watching
first thing
these,
to
and
think
we're not
about,
watching, and we're not thinking about the blessings that more children are having. It's really funny. I watched the interview where the person was basically saying that you realize that the world is underpopulated, not overpopulated.
So have more
Sorry,
kids,
wait,
guys.
what?
Yes.
Underpopulated.
No, for real.
So what they're saying
For
is,
real.
look,
It's
you can
all
fit the
lies.
entire 7 to 8 billion people in the world in an area the size of Manhattan.
Yes.
Right?
Well,
The
like
reason,
if we're standing next to each other.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I think the reason that people think that it's overpopulated is because we have large clusters of people in certain areas.
Yeah.
Number one, like because of where the resources are. Number two, the reason why they're saying probably the biggest threat to humanity is depopulation.
Yep.
Because in the West, because of this philosophy of we need to stop having as many children, and because of advances in medicine, the populations are slowing down and declining.
Yeah, it's
Japan
the
has
aging.
a very serious
Issue
right now.
Yeah. They're
Really serious
promoting
issue.
childbearing.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah.
You know, they had this thing where
Massively.
you could only have one child.
child.
And then if
Now-
No, that was China. That was China.
China.
yeah, that's China.
Japan.
Yeah.
That's
Japan
true,
is
that's
actually
true,
trying to
that's
get
true.
more foreign people to come into Japan to boost its economic growth because
Because they're
the fact
aging.
is,
Yeah,
They
yeah,
want
it's
them
really
to
funny.
marry each other now.
I don't know
No,
about
no,
marriage,
no,
but they
no.
need. The fact is, you need people for an economy to
So, yeah,
grow,
Yeah.
and
sustain
like
and to
all
grow.
this, what we're saying, AI, this, and like technology is going to help you. It's the fact is, you still need bodies, like you still
Yeah.
need people to like help you grow.
Okay.
So anyway, Sha, that's another
Guys,
topic.
what is the craziest things any of your child has ever done or said to you?
Let's start with Dara.
Craziest thing he's ever done.
Shocking.
Shocking.
Your kids can
I don't
be
know.
saints.
No, see, I know that those two say like the most. So you know that thing where when they ask you the question and the lights are on, your brain now scramble. Maybe that's what's happening because I know that those two have said some pretty interesting.
Who was it that told us we were irresponsible?
Yeah.
Tio.
Was that to you? Told us we were irresponsible people.
Yeah.
Can you imagine age 5 or whatever it is? It's like that's just irresponsible.
Yeah.
What was the?
So
I can't
which one of you say that? Use that term around him?
I don't know. I don't even know. We don't know where he heard it. That we just don't know. He just told us one day that we were not being responsible people.
Yeah.
But I can't remember
Oh,
the
was there
exact
was-
I
story.
can't
as to
remember
why.
what happened. And he was like, that's not very responsible of you, is it? I was like, I'm sorry, what? He was like, that's not very responsible of you.
repeated it.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, we got another one. It was
Okay.
when so Tio came to comfort you. Remember when you were going through a hard time? You're like, Tio, it's so hard, and this, that, the other.
Yes.
You go ahead,
and then
yeah.
I have another one after that. Yeah, go
No,
on.
you
Here we
can go
go.
ahead and finish it off. Like,
Yeah, you go.
I should finish it
yeah,
off.
you can finish it off.
So there was one morning I was having a hard time because we just moved to Lagos and I was just still kind of getting used to Lagos. And so I went downstairs and I sat in front of the TV and I was just like, and then he was what, 2?
Three,
At
man.
the time?
2 or 3.
And he came and then put his arm around me and was like, it's okay, mommy. I understand you're going through a hard time. Life can be hard for me as well. It's like when I need to poo and I struggle to poo, I'm constipated and it's hard to come out. Life, that can be quite hard for me. So I understand what you're going through.
Do you know how many multi-syllable words were in that? Like,
Oh, so what's amazing is the words he was using, not the context.
no. So here's the thing.
The fact that he identified the fact that somebody was going through something hard, like
through-
he goes through hard stuff too.
Yeah.
Because when his poo is not coming out,
It's hard.
I mean, that's the one that concerns the man.
it blew my mind.
It blew my mind. I burst out laughing. Whatever I was thinking of just went out the
my
window.
mind.
And then I looked at him and was like, you're right, son. It is like when your poo is hard. And then
Wow.
the second one, it was shower time. Oh God, I can't even. It was shower time. And Idara was like whistling, and then he was like, "Oh, my baby's like a whistle because it has a
Children say the
my
craziest
goodness.
things.
And it was like,
Jesus.
Boys are something else, man.
Listen.
Boys are something else.
What?
What did you tell him? You just kept quiet.
I was like,
Like,
need
what's
a girl.
really to say? Like, in that situation, there's really nothing to say. Like, what can you possibly say? The guy looked at it, decided it looked like a whistle, and started to whistle. Like, okay.
and I was just like, I need a girl. There's too much testosterone in my house.
Or who was it that locked the door and they took the key out and they couldn't
was
put it back?
Tio.
Again.
He said again.
Do you know he did it at Edith's house the last time?
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks, however many weeks ago. Again. Yeah, you weren't there.
Weeks. No, but he knows how to open the door now.
No, it got stuck. You weren't there.
So look at his face like, oh.
No, see, like at this one he was like 2, like the first one, right? Like so.
We were in the country. Remember, we were in Devon.
No, this was in
another
Lagos. In Lagos.
Oh gosh, yeah, I
The
remember.
boy got
oh my gosh.
because now where you like he got the key, locked the door on the other side by himself, removed the key, and he couldn't at age 2. He couldn't figure out how to put it back in. He was stuck. I was already trying to figure out like when am I gonna get tools to unscrew all this stuff and like
I was like, what are we gonna call?
it was
An
mad.
Ghostbusters.
ambulance.
We had to like try and stay calm.
Yeah.
Coach
And
him
then
through. It took us a
yeah,
while,
it
but
took
he
us a while.
eventually managed to
Figure
figure
it
it
out.
out. Turned
Yeah.
it and
Yeah.
never ever in your life do that again.
Man.
Oh no.
So
no.
in our house, we have a no locked door policy
And we take out the keys
All
from
the
the.
keys.
So after that, we took out
yeah,
the
we
keys.
took out all the keys.
because
Just like, I'm
fam,
not doing that again.
God I beg you, God, man.
Like,
And they try to think which window
would you
I go
call-
for.
Exactly.
Which window I fit.
and who would you call here?
Ghostbusters.
We'll break the door down now.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Yeah.
My bad. Carry on.
Okay.
Okay. This
What is it?
Well, I was gonna say, what's the craziest thing Kian has ever said to you guys?
That's enough.
yeah, he looked. His mom was trying to take a picture
wow.
of him.
Picture.
And then she was like, "Say cheese," and then he said, "Cheese."
Say cheese again. Smile for me.
That's enough.
Wow.
And then of course he does the
Okay.
whole general, regular stuff like naughty dada face the wall.
Okay.
Or I'm busy. Yeah. So
Can't you see I'm busy?
yeah, Kion would actually sit down and be doing whatever, and then you're like, "Hi, Kion, what are you doing? I'm busy." Sometimes he doesn't wait for you to finish asking
He would
questions,
just,
and he
"I'm
doesn't
busy."
look up when
Oh,
he does that.
wow,
He's just
okay.
like, "I'm busy." So the first thing I did to me, I was like, "Oh my goodness, blah blah blah." And then I told his mother, she was like, "That's you now."
Does he call you by your first name if you're not listening?
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
So
Ours
sometimes,
the same thing.
sometimes he goes, "Babe."
babe.
Yes.
Idara does that a lot just to annoy you. Babe.
Babe. Segilola. Segilola Ogidon. I am talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mommy. Segi.
At least with you said mommy a few times, you have not turned around. Seki will get you.
And it always
works. Works every time.
Boys.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming and enlightening us and teaching us a lot of things that we didn't know. I didn't know, but now I know, and I'm sure that our viewers and listeners have learned a lot from everything that you've said. Bola, thank you. Thank you for being with this crazy friend of mine.
I try.
And
Why
standing
can't I
by
be
my
normal?
normal
Birds
friend.
of a feather flock together. So if I'm crazy, then you're crazy.
She got you there. She got you
I
there.
deserve some
Dun, dun,
accolades.
dun.
I mean.
Yeah, you do.
You do deserve,
You do.
flowers.
So thank you guys. Idara, I like I said in the beginning of the show, you have beautiful boys,
Yeah.
and they will be healthy and
Amen.
remain healthy.
Amen.
And God, you want the girls, right? You want the twins.
I do.
You can have them. You can have them.
Please listen to our episodes about twins.
Oh yes. Please listen to our episode about twins when it happens.
We will.
Okay, so that joke alert.
Oh gosh.
I love it when they respond like that.
Please don't fall our hand, I beg.
It will fall your hand, bro. What do deaf gynecologists do?
Deaf.
Gynecologists.
Oh gosh, I was gonna say. I'm not gonna say what.
say.
No, don't say it's okay.
They use their tongues.
But they do have, those clamp. Anyway, but no, that's
I
not
actually
it.
meant
Oh
that.
my
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Lola.
Shut up.
I didn't say she said it. So what do deaf gynecologists do? They read lips.
Oh.
Sid actually did this.
Oh.
So on that note, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Due Parenting Podcast. My name is Ibrahim Suleiman. This is Linda Ejiofor Suleiman. She can't speak right now. These are the Ogidons, Segilola and Bola. And they have 2 beautiful boys, and they spend time talking to us about what it is like being parents of a child who has sickle cell. And they have educated us. I've had such a great time laughing, learning, crying, and just generally catching up.
I didn't see no tears.
No, inner tears, baby. Inner tears. You as a man, he's inside. You just did like this. You understand? So, guys, please like, subscribe, share. Let us know in comments what you think. And if you have any questions, suggestions,
and those who want to know
interactions,
more, just send the
please,
questions. We'll send it
we'll
to
send
them.
it right to them, and they are good people, and they will make time to holler back. Mwah. God bless
Oh,
you.
don't forget our social media platforms across all social media. Do
Parenting Podcast.
So Twitter, Instagram,
Parenting Pod.
Facebook. And you can,
Do
for our
Parenting Podcast.
listeners, you can listen on Spotify, iTunes,
and everywhere else that you listen to your podcast. And
Do you parenting podcast?
Yes,
Do
and do parenting
Parenting
podcast.
Podcast.
Do you parenting
and if you want to
podcast?
email us, you can
Do
email us.
parenting
at,
podcast?
you know,
Do parenting podcast?
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Ibrahim
At gmail.com.
and
I can't
Emma.
believe he told that
Bye-bye.
gynecologist joke.
Bye-bye.
That was such a...
But they
They
do
read
it so bad.
late. They
But
read late. Like,
They do. Don't be nasty. See, shame on these people.
I hope that's just not their takeaway from this thing. That's your joke. Like, seriously.
It's will.
at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would have gotten all the.
You can edit it though, right?
And
Like,
then-
They'll get all the. But the thing is, it is for
They read
parents.
lips.
Every parent. This thing is for parents. I love it.
Welcome to New Waiting Pod.